Okay, so real question, why does nobody eat breakfast anymore? Literally, I know so many people that do not eat breakfast and it's just like normal to them. Like, I'll go out for lunch with them or something and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten anything all day. And then I'm like, did you not have breakfast or anything? And then they'll be like, no, I just don't eat breakfast. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, how can you not eat breakfast? By the way, breakfast is not a freaking granola bar, okay? Breakfast is not literally a cup of coffee and a piece of toast, okay? Breakfast is not freaking half of a bowl of cereal, okay? Breakfast is not freaking a piece of fruit. Like, come on, I'm talking about like breakfast. Like, you have to have like, you know, freaking, you know, some eggs with some toast, you know, some oatmeal with some coffee. Like, you have to have like something nutritious. You have to have like a protein in there. You have to have your carbs in there because it's like healthy carbs in the morning. You have to have like whole grain things in there. Like, you have to have like actual like a hearty meal. It is not a myth that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Clearly, I have a thing for breakfast. Like, the way I was raised, breakfast is not a joke, okay? Like, it does not matter nothing. Like, you have to have a good breakfast. Oh, and you had no option. Like, you had to eat breakfast. Like I dare anybody to say no to my grandma's breakfast or my mother's breakfast. Like, you don't play like that. Like, you eat breakfast. Oh, and just like literally also breakfast is eaten in the morning. Like, people out here like, oh, it's 1 in the afternoon. They're like, oh, just now eating breakfast. No, you're not eating breakfast, you're eating lunch. You skipped breakfast, and that's probably not good for like your whole health and body and whatever, but you are not eating breakfast at that point. You are eating lunch. Point is, breakfast is important, and I do not understand why people do not eat breakfast. I feel like I cannot get my day started if I don't eat a breakfast, like especially a good one. And I literally, if I don't eat breakfast, I'm also like starving. Like, there's been days where I don't have time and it like sucks, and it's probably because I slept in like way more than I should have. And I'm like at work and I'm literally like, my stomach is like eating itself. Like, breakfast is important, I need it. If not, I don't have energy for the day. My mind is like dozing off. I'm like starving. It's just, so because I believe strongly in breakfast and how important it is to have a good and healthy breakfast, today I'm going to be sharing a breakfast recipe. Disclaimer, there were technical difficulties, and so the day that I filmed myself actually cooking the breakfast was not today, so that's why like 2 different outfits, you know, my everything, all the stuff. But yeah, so I'm gonna be sharing a frittata recipe, a spinach frittata recipe. It's really good. I've been making it for a really long time. It's actually way easier than it looks. It will literally be done in 15 minutes. And it's made with things that you would normally have in your fridge. It's not something like, oh, I have to go to the store and buy all these fancy things in order to have a good breakfast. No. It's very simple. It's very nice. It's very straightforward. It is made really fast, and most of all, it is delicious. Not only that, but this recipe, like, you're like guaranteed to love it. Like, you cannot not love it. Like, this is actually one of the most delicious things I've ever made. It is so simple, and it's like my favorite thing, one of my favorite things that I have ever made. And every time I try it, I'm like, how did I come up with this delicious combination of a whole bunch of wonderful things? That's literally what I think every time. Okay, so having said that, we're gonna head to the cooking part right now. So I'm gonna be making a super delicious version of a spinach frittata. So here I have some of my ingredients, actually all of my ingredients for the frittata. So I'm going to be starting with a base of garlic and onion, which is basically what I use for absolutely everything. So I'm gonna use half of a small onion. I'm gonna chop it like real thinly and real small. I'm also just gonna use 1 clove of garlic. Then I have some cherry tomatoes that I'm gonna be using as well. I like to cut them in 4s, just so I don't have like big chunks of tomato that I'm biting into. I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of that. I'm also going to be using 2 basil leaves that I'm also going to chop really thinly and small for a lot of added flavor. Apart from that, here I have my ham. I use smoked honey ham that I'm also going to be chopping up into squares. And then I have 3 eggs and 1/4 cup of milk. So I use 3 eggs for 2 servings. So this recipe that I'm going to be giving you guys today is just for 2 servings. If you would like some more, feel free to just double the recipe. And we can't forget the most important ingredient, which is our spinach. I have here about a cup to like a cup and a quarter of baby spinach. I kind of just give it a rough chop as well, but you're going to be seeing how I do all of that. And then I have some butter. So I'm going to be using just a tablespoon of butter mixed with some olive oil at the beginning. And another super important ingredient that I cannot miss is cheese. So I'm going to be using half of a cup of Monterey Jack cheese. I know half of a cup is a little bit much, but that's just my preference. I love cheese. I love everything to be super cheesy. I love to just like insert my fork and like lift it up, and then like the strand of cheese is there. You could obviously use way less cheese. You could use like a quarter cup and just sprinkle it with cheese if you want. And then, where's the Parmesan cheese? Oh, here it is. And I cannot forget, I also sprinkle, this is a personal preference, I also sprinkle some Parmesan cheese right on top to make everything better, because you can never have enough cheese in my book. Okay, so now for real, let's get started. Throughout the whole process, just salt and pepper your way through it to taste however you want. I always use salt and pepper and garlic powder. Those are like my 3 essentials. So I'm going to use a pinch of that throughout it, but feel free to not use the garlic powder or use any other spice that you may think will go really well. Thought like, wow, that's a lot of butter, or like, and she's adding oil on top of that, but you wanna see why I added that amount. Most beautiful thing in the world with this is whenever you open it, you hold up your pan, and whenever you move it, it's all gonna move. You see? Nothing is breaking, falling apart. It did not stick a little bit, and it moves like one whole beautiful piece of deliciousness that did not break, and everything happened perfectly. And we have come to the happiest moment of my day. Okay, so everything turned out perfectly, and I'm so excited, I'm so happy. And my second favorite part of all of this is this part right here. Going to cut this up like this, and going this way, and woo, serve And as if we hadn't already seen enough beautiful and majestic things happening, look at how beautiful this is. I'm just gonna grab it and turn it. Look at that brown, delicious color. I think I'm gonna eat it just like this. Okay, you cannot tell me that does not look delicious. It came out absolutely super perfect, and it's literally one of the easiest things to make. Like, it looks like, oh my gosh, it's such a process, it's gonna take me forever, but not really. It takes like 5 minutes to chop up all the things up, and then it takes like 10 minutes for it to cook, and that's pretty much it. One important thing that I did want to clarify that I'm not sure you caught was when I turn down the heat. So I do that, you know, I go ahead and I put the eggs in and everything, and I make sure that it cooks well, but you already kind of have a sense, especially because it's on medium to high heat already. It's very easy for the bottom to start burning and for the top part to still not be fully done. So once you put the egg in and everything, and it has been there for a couple of minutes. By the way, eggs, they cook in like no time. So once you put all the eggs in and it has already been there for a couple of minutes, you kind of already know, okay, it's time to turn down the heat. So you have to turn down the heat so it continues to cook throughout, from the bottom to the top. So the top reaches the perfect, delicious golden brown color that we saw, but then the top and everything on top is also perfectly cooked. And then we add the cheese, and then we put the lid on. But turning down the heat is very important, because you do not want the bottom part to burn under any circumstance, and you want everything to cook evenly and so pretty that we get to that wonderful, glorious point where I'm able to move it and everything moves and nothing is breaking. If you have any, if you want to see any type of recipes, just let me know. Like, I have a lot of people ask me, like, my husband only eats chicken, he only likes chicken, what can I make with chicken? Okay, so I'll obviously be posting a chicken recipe next, but if you have anything like that, like, you know, there's maybe a certain kind of vegetable that, like, you know is really good for you, but you can't find a way to make it taste good, let me know. Maybe I know of something you can do. Anything like that, feel free to request it and let me know. Alrighty then, so that is it. Thank you for watching. Once again, do all the liking and commenting and subscribing thing that I said, and I'll see y'all on the next one.